Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the April Oldham County Board of Adjustments. My name's Larry Outerback. It's 9 o'clock, and we are now in session. We have 4 cases before us today. Procedures for all 4 cases are going to be the same. Here in a minute, I'm going to swear staff in, and Mark will read the application or the report. Staff's going to come up and give us a staff report. There's going to be a round of questioning by board members to staff. When we're done with that, staff's going to take a seat, and I'm going to call the applicant forward. The applicant needs to come forward, come to the lectern, raise your right hand, be sworn in, state your name and address, justify your project. Again, there'll be a round of questioning by board members to you, the applicant, and when we're done with that, you may take a seat, and I'll call forward anybody that wishes to speak in favor of the application. Same thing, you're going to come forward, come to the lectern, raise your right hand, be sworn in, state your name and address, tell us why you're in favor of the application. There'll be a round of questions to you, those in favor. When we're done, you may take a seat. I'm going to call for anybody that wishes to speak in opposition. Same thing, come to the lectern, raise your right hand, get sworn in, state your name and address, tell us why you're opposed. Anybody speaking needs to speak at the lectern. Things are getting recorded and video and all that, so make sure you're up here at the lectern when you're speaking. When I'm done with opposition, you may take a seat. I will call forward if there is any opposition. There'll be a time for rebuttal. We're going to start with the applicant on that. Come forward. You'll have time for rebuttal, and then the opposition will have time for rebuttal. Final statements. Then I'm going to close the floor for public hearing, open it up for general discussion among the board members, and I'll call for an up and down vote. Okay? Let's make sure all cell phones are off or on vibrate. If you need to take a call, just please excuse yourself from the courtroom. Do whatever you need to. Just make sure it's off when you come back in. Board member, make sure your mics are on. And with that, let's swear staff in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
And Mark, if you'd like to read the first one, please.
Docket number OC 25011 for conditional use permit owner-occupied short-term rental property on 6620 Bohannon Lane, LaGrange.
This one was tabled from last month. I guess we just need a motion to take it off the table, correct? Can I get a motion to take it off the table and bring it to the floor?
Make a motion that we take this one off the table.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, it's on the floor, and if you'd like to go ahead.
Good morning. I'm not sure how much you want me to go over this again, if you want me to go over the whole presentation or just summarize it.
We can just summarize it.
Okay, so this is a short-term rental. It was tabled last month for additional confirmation of residency of the owner, which he has since provided a driver's license, a water bill, and a conceal and carry permit with the address of Bohannon Lane, which is a 2-structure, 5-bedroom short-term rental. One is a barn and one is a main house.
What was the last statement?
One is the main house, one is a barn. There's 3 bedrooms in the main house, 2 in the barn, and it requires 6 parking spaces, which there's plenty of parking.
Okay. All right, is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Board being tabled from last month. Does anybody have any questions from testimony of last month? Or any questions for today? Okay. All right. I think we went through this. Where we left it is just the proof of primary residency, which he has proven. Okay. Anything else for staff? Okay. Thank you. And is the applicant here? Yes, ma'am. Let's go ahead and get you sworn in. And name and address, please. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Chelsea Bramall from Bramall Law Office, representing the applicant, Quality Real Estate, and Bob Downs, its member. We don't have additional testimony, just those additional pieces of evidence of residency that we put on the record.
Okay. Questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Opposed to the application? Board members, questions for anybody? Anything else you wish to say? Nothing. Okay, I'm going to close the floor and open it up for discussion.
So as I recall, the only issue was whether this was truly the primary residence of the applicant. He was a pilot, and he spent time in other places. So
no,
is that right? Is that
No.
the one? No, it's a different one?
It's different.
Okay.
So should we reopen the floor and go over?
I recall us just needing the evidence of occupancy or residency.
That's exactly
so,
right. We
yeah.
went through last
Right.
month, I mean, we can most certainly open the floor if you have questions. But I think where we left it, I think we were, I was in favor. I believe that's kind of the direction everybody
Yeah.
was going with this.
I recall that,
It was
yeah.
just simply the proof of residency.
Right.
Should we explicitly include as a potential condition of approval that it will be maintained as the primary residence? Or is that kind of implied?
Doesn't that get checked every year? Don't they have to
That
do like
gets-
an
okay,
annual?
Every time they go through an application. that's-
Permit to,
Okay.
yeah. So that, I mean, if they don't have that, then,
It's taken care of.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the potential conditions of approval. If we just want to make sure we go through those. Any other discussion? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve the conditional use because of the proposed use is essential or desirable to the community and not in conflict with the elements, objects, or policies of the comprehensive plan based on the more of the following factors. One is granting a conditional use permit will allow the property to integrate into the community of a use specifically named in the zoning regulations, and two, the community or neighborhood has a need for the proposed use, and there are potential benefits to the community or neighborhood. And the conditional use permit shall only apply to the appropriate conditions at the April 17, 2025 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing.
All right, did you want to go ahead and go through the other conditions of approval?
The applicant shall comply with all regulations concerning short-term rental properties outlined in Oldham County zoning regulation section 2050-050. The conditional use permit shall be automatically revoked upon transfer, sale of the property. The applicant shall apply for and be issued a short-term rental property permit license before renting the property.
Okay, we have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? It's been approved. The next case, for anybody here that's wishing to hear whichever, OC 25012, that has been withdrawn. Okay, Mark, you want to read the next one, please?
Oldham County 25013, a rear yard variance at 7011 West Highway 22 in Crestwood.
Okay.
Hello again. This is very tricky. Okay, the proposed is an application. An application has been filed requesting rear yard setback variance at 7011 West Highway 22, Crestwood. The property is zoned R4 Residential District. It's .43 acres, and the parcel ID is 24-24.02-008D. There's no previous site history. The case was posted to the planning website on March 31st, 2025. Adjoining property owners' notices were mailed on April 2nd, 2025. Public notice appeared in Oldham Era on April 10th, 2025. This is the aerial picture of the property. The surrounding zoning is R4 to the north and west, R3 to the east, and R2 to the south. The applicant is seeking a rear setback variance for a 6-unit, 2-story townhome-style apartment complex with individual garages. The required setback for R4 is 25 feet. The requested variance is for 1.52 feet, creating a 23.48-foot setback. Multifamily residential dwellings are permitted use in the R4 district. The current R4 zoning district is appropriate for this type of proposed development. Even though the applicant was not required to go through technical review committee, agency comments were solicited. We received 2 comments. One is the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet requested the structure be placed as far to the north as possible to maximize the separation between Highway 22 and Parkwood Road for the first driveway. The applicant will, and the second comment was the applicant will need to submit a downstream facility capacity request to ensure sewer capacity, which they did on Monday. As you see here, for the zoning requirements, the minimum rear yard setback is 25 feet. So in summary, the required rear yard setback is 25 feet. Requested rear yard setback is 23.48 feet, and with the variance request at 1.25 feet. Any questions?
I'm sorry, you transposed the numbers. I
Oh,
think it's
sorry.
1.52 feet, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Questions? Okay, thank you. And if we can have the applicant come forward, please.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Name and address.
Jonathan Martin, 8166 Dover Road in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Okay, Jonathan, do you have legal counsel with you?
I do not.
You do not?
No, sir.
Who is, the applicant is a L&M Housing and Development, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Corporation? Is that a corporation?
It's an LLC.
Yeah. We need to have legal counsel represent this project.
Oh, I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime that,
Practicing law.
do what?
It's a practice of law that he's involved with. If he's representing a corporation, he needs an attorney present.
Speaking to the mic, but, yeah.
I was under the impression on a sole ownership that you didn't have to do that.
You're not the sole owner. The sole owner is a company.
Right, but I'm the sole owner of the,
Do it.
I'm the sole owner of the company, so.
There's a big difference there, though, sir. Unfortunately, the laws don't support what you're saying as far as representing, practicing law. And we require an attorney to be present for corporations, LLCs, and things of that nature. That's why an attorney was here on that other case.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The name of the applicant, at least on this cover page, doesn't have the LLC designation after the name of the applicant either, and that might have caused some confusion.
Okay.
Is that a fair
So just
statement?
to
Yes.
table it and put it on for the next docket.
So, okay, so we're gonna have to table it
It
until we get
it is
legal
on this
representation.
page, but it's just not on the cover, so,
Okay,
yeah.
all right,
Right.
I need a motion, or,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table this
Table.
until our
Second.
next session.
okay, thank you, Bill, for the second discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, it's been tabled. All right, Mark, you want to read the next one, please?
Oldham County docket 25014, conditional use permit, detached ADU, for applicant Stu Martin, location 4606 Grandell Drive.
Okay,
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. John Hine, Oldham County Planning and Development Services. Bear with me a moment. We are here for a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling unit at 4606 Grandell Drive in Crestwood. Application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for an already constructed detached accessory dwelling unit on the property located at 4606 Grandell Drive. Zoning is R1 residential, land use is residential, and the lot size is 5.1 acres. Site history: on the 17th of March, a shell-only inspection was conducted and approved by Building Inspector Paul Stoops, at which time the applicant was advised of the need to apply for a conditional use permit for the already constructed ADU within the garage space. Case history was posted to the website on the 31st of March, 2025. Adjoining property owner notices were mailed on the 2nd of April in 2025, and the public notice appeared in the Oldham Era on the 10th of April. Here we have the property in discussion and the zoning, R1 with a bit butting up against the Ag 1 zoning. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling unit that has already been constructed. The ADU portion is approximately 398 square feet of the detached garage. The primary structure is 2,068 square feet according to PVA records, and based on the primary structure's square footage, the maximum allowable size for the detached ADU would be 517 square feet. The detached ADU conforms to size and location regulations. According to Section 250-040E1, detached accessory dwelling units may be allowed only after the approval of the conditional use permit. The applicant has stated that in their justification that the detached ADU will be used by visiting friends and family only. Here we have pictures that I included in your staff packet that were provided by the applicant. And here he has a drawing of the living space within the garage and our ordinances as they are. In summary, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow the use of the already constructed accessory structure as a detached accessory dwelling unit. Potential conditions of approval for for the CUP only. The conditional use permit shall only apply to the plan considered at the April 17th, 2025 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
okay. Questions, questions for John? Okay, thank you. And if we can have the applicant come forward? Good morning. Morning. And let's get you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
And name and address, please.
Stu Martin, 4606 Grandell Drive, Crestwood, Kentucky, 40014.
Okay. And if you can try to justify your project, tell us what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, just building a detached garage. The major portion of the structure is a garage for my classic car and motorcycle. Get it out of the main garage and my 4 boys. And finished a small portion of it for our personal use as a family, I have family from Iowa, Florida, so when they come in town, an additional space for them, rather than pull out couches for everybody. And so that was kind of the thought of it, was just entertainment space in the garage for my family and friends. I have no desire to be a landlord at all. So,
All right, questions?
Is this separate from the other structure that's behind the house?
yeah, there's a small utility shed that was constructed when the house was built in '93, I believe.
Okay.
Yes. It has a lawnmower and bicycles, that kind of stuff in it.
Got it. And is it using the same like septic or sewage system?
No, before we even started the project, had Mr. Ward from the health department come out and stake out, and so it'll have its own separate septic system. Is more economical than tying into the current.
Okay.
Because we'd had to add lateral lines to tie into the current and that kind of stuff. So.
Got it. Cool.
What about running businesses out of it? Or you just said that you don't plan on being a landlord? No short-term rentals?
No.
No business?
No, sir.
Strictly for personal use when friends or family come over for,
Absolutely.
yeah, occasionally?
Yeah.
Okay. Board members, any other questions? Charles, you good?
You do have adequate like egresses in case there's a fire, right? That was part of the shell inspection, I'm
Yes,
assuming?
yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Plumbing, electrical, building have all come and inspected and given stickers. Yes.
Got it.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Stu.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Board members, questions for anybody? Okay, I'm going to close the floor, open it up for general discussion.
Something that wasn't mentioned, but the last page of our packet shows just how it fits the character of the neighborhood, just how many other homes have similar structures to this.
Okay. I would like to put in the potential conditions of approval. They've listed the detached ADU will not be used as a short-term rental. And we asked that. So let's put that as a condition of approval, as well as we asked about running a business. And he said he wasn't going to do that, so we can put that in there. Anything else? Okay, if not, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve OC 25014, conditional use permit for a detached ADU at 4606 Grand Dell Drive. The motion to approve the conditional use because the proposed use is essentially desirable to the community and will not conflict with the elements, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan. Granting the conditional use permit will allow proper integration into the community of a use specifically named in the zoning regulation. The proposed use is compatible with surrounding land uses and general character of the area, including factors as height, bulk, scale, intensity, traffic, noise, odor, drainage, dust, lighting, and appearance. The proposed use will not impair the integrity and character of the zone, or if there are specific restrictions on location, size, extent, and character of the performance. There are adequate public facilities available, such as including transportation, sanitation, water, sewer, drainage, emergency services, education, and recreation. The conditions of approval are that the conditional use permit shall apply only to the application considered at the April 17th. There's a date problem in the packet here. April 17th, 2025, Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. The attached ADU will not be used as a short-term rental property and will not be used as, for any business purposes.
Okay. We have a
I'll
mo-
second.
Thank you. We got a second?
Second.
David? And any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved. Okay, let's, Mark, if you want to read the last one, please.
Docket number OC 25016, conditional use permit, owner occupied short-term rental property for Edward and Robin Goree at 4007 Hamiltonian Road.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, John Hine, Oldham County Planning and Development Services. We are here for an owner-occupied short-term rental permit at 4007 Hambletonian in LaGrange, and, application has been filed, requested a conditional use permit for an owner-occupied short-term rental property located at 4007 Hambletonian in LaGrange, Kentucky. The zoning is R2 residential, and the land use is residential. The site size is approximately 5.011 acres. Site history: on March 4th of 2025, a notice of violation was issued by Oldham County Code Enforcement for operating a short-term rental without the appropriate permits. Case history: the agenda was posted to the planning website on the 31st of March. Adjoining property owner notices were mailed on the 2nd of April, and public notice appeared in the Oldham Era on the 10th of April, all in 2025. Here we have the site in question and the zoning district of R2. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for an owner-occupied short-term rental property. Section 250-050, Item A, definitions, states an owner-occupied short-term rental as the owner of record whose primary residence is located on the same lot or immediately adjacent lot of the short-term rental property and includes a person, personal or family trusts, limited liability partnerships, or limited liability companies, all of which must consist solely of persons and not a business entity. Section 250-050, Item B1, short-term rental property permitted use and conditional use standards states the following. In zoning district R2 residential district, an owner-occupied short-term rental property is required to obtain a conditional use permit by the appropriate Board of Adjustments. The applicant communicated to staff that they reside at the Hambletonian address for more than 6 months per year. Section 250-050A definitions defines the primary residence as the main home of an individual where they reside a minimum of 6 months on an annual basis. The applicant has submitted adequate documentation to provide proof of their primary residence as required in Section 250-050D. The applicant has stated in their application that they are on site when they rent the house out. Here we have the chart in the ordinances describing the conditional use permit required in R2. And if granted the CUP, the owner must comply with the operating requirements and standards as outlined in the STRP regulations, Item C. Short-term rental has 3 bedrooms and will have a maximum occupancy of 10 based on the calculations in Section 250-050. Here we have an outline provided by the applicant of the master bedroom and 2 subsequent bedrooms. I believe that's also in your staff packet. The short-term rental is required to have 4 parking spaces in compliance with the ordinances. This aerial shows that they certainly have adequate parking for that. Potential conditions of approval: the conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered at the April 17th, 2025 Board of Adjustments hearing. Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. The applicant shall comply with all regulations concerning short-term rental properties outlined in Oldham County zoning regulations, Section 250-050. Conditional use permit shall be automatically revoked upon transfer or sale of the property, and the applicant shall apply for and be issued a short-term rental property permit prior to renting the property. Any questions?
What proof was used for establishing residency?
They provided a number of utility bills as well as
Got it.
a new PVA statement as well.
John, go back a few slides. You had mentioned primary residency was the individual has to live on the property for 6 months out of the year.
Yes.
I think there were a couple other, go back to that slide if you would, please.
This one, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, and also go back one more. Hang on right there. Hang on right there. Okay, then go forward one. Hang on right there.
This came into question because the occupant or the applicant has stated that they live in Florida part-time.
Okay.
So we wanted to do our due diligence and confirm.
No,
that
I
this was-
appreciate it. And I don't recall seeing that 250-050. I don't think I've ever seen that. So that helps a lot. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions for John?
I guess my question is, you all were satisfied that they lived there the appropriate amount of time that's needed to be, for them to,
They meet all the requirements that we have in place at the time.
Okay. Thanks, John. If I can have the applicant come forward, please. Good morning. Let's go ahead and get you both sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We do.
Thank you.
Okay. And name and address.
Edward Gorey, 400 Hamilton Road, LaGrange, Kentucky, 40031.
Okay.
Robin Gorey, 4007 Hambletonian Road, LaGrange, Kentucky.
Okay.
40031.
Okay, thank you. And if you'd like to tell us what it is you're trying to do.
Sure. Last June, we bought a house in Kentucky, up the street here. We've been coming here for 5 years now. We got into the horse racing business, and we come up here a lot, and we love it. So we decided to purchase a house upstairs and spend a lot more time up here. So we purchased this house, beautiful farmhouse. It has a finished basement, and that's where we live. And we wanted to, well, we live upstairs, but we go downstairs also. And so we wanted to let other people experience the farm life of Kentucky and a nice and quiet. And we're dog lovers, and a lot of people travel, and they don't have places to stay with their dogs. So we didn't know about the requirements for having an Airbnb, because some states don't have it. You guys had it. We got the letter for cease and desist. As soon as we got that, we ceased and desist, and we went through the requirements. John was a big help to us, so we flew up here. We got everything done, and we're just looking to rent out our property to help offset the cost, and also to give people the opportunity to enjoy Kentucky and LaGrange.
Okay,
Thank you.
questions?
So you have a Kentucky driver's license?
No, I don't, sir.
Do you file a state of Kentucky income tax return?
No, I don't, sir. The reason for that is we just moved here in June, and this is the second time we're here. But I was acquiring yesterday. Actually, I came here. I talked to the gentleman in the front door, the officer, about where because I couldn't find the DMV office. So he gave me a list yesterday. So I got to go down to Louisville today, and I'm going to change my residency and get a Kentucky license.
When you're renting this property out, your intention is to be here in the state and to be staying at the residence at the same time, right?
Yes,
Okay.
because we're here for like 9 months. We go to Florida for 3 months, but not too many people are looking to come here in December, January, February with the cold weather.
Yeah. For ice storms.
Yeah.
So on the application, the location is the Hambletonian Road.
Yeah.
However, we've got a little statement that talks about Riverside Drive from Prospect. I'm assuming this is a mistake. The actual location is in fact 4007 Hamiltonian Road. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I'm not aware of what Riverside Drive is.
Okay.
And I also have if you don't mind, I have a letter from one of my neighbors that wanted me to read it because she couldn't make it. She was at work. If you give me the pleasure of reading the letter.
We can put that, if you want to go ahead and just put it on the overhead, we'll put that up here in just a second. All right, any other questions for John? Or, I'm sorry, for Edward? So,
I have a question. So when you are in Florida, like, who's going to manage the property or take care of it?
Our neighbor next door
Okay.
does it. One thing that we realized up here is everybody's very friendly. So they all help us out a lot.
Okay.
What's her name? Carol what? Carol Block. Her address is 4001.
okay. What paperwork did you present as establishing residency?
All my utility bills, my, what is it called, the APV, John, what's that called? PVA, and all my bills, they all come here.
Okay, other questions? No more? Mark, you good?
Good.
Bill, you good? All right.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Yep. Is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application?
You want us to leave this letter here?
Yes, if you would, please. John, did we receive any other letters of support or opposition?
No, and that one was just brought in this morning, which is why I asked them to present it themselves.
Okay. All right, I guess I guess Christie needs to get that. Okay, anybody wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Board members, questions for anybody? All right.
I have a question for staff. I just want to make sure when you do your annual certification for short-term rentals, I mean, so your documentation required to show residency is just like a utility bill and a property tax bill?
Yeah, it doesn't specify which of the combination needs to be done, but there's a list that's given in the definitions. It includes utility bill, 2 of the following items. Utility bills can be state ID, can be, property tax bill, but it doesn't say which 2 or any combination, therefore, that has to be done.
Administratively, are you able to scrutinize that any further? Because, you know, somebody that could live in another state could certainly have their property tax bill and their utility bill sent to whatever that address is and still not truly be a resident. You know, there's this, I mean, I know a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that are in the 183 Club, right? The 183 Club is you have to be out of the state of Kentucky for 183 days a year to not pay taxes, right? So you could be in the 183 Club, have a Florida driver's license, not pay Kentucky taxes, and have your property tax bill and your utility bill sent to whatever rental property that you have. And so so that's why I question the level of scrutiny for when they do the annual application for the STR, if you're able to verify that they're not doing that.
As the ordinance stands now, it is challenging to necessarily discern that.
Okay. I
Ryan, did
understand.
you have any input?
Yeah, and I think I'll need to get sworn in because I was out of the room when you all did that. So, Christy, I'm sorry.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So I just wanted to elaborate a little bit. So, you know, when we were going through changing our short-term rental regulations back a couple years ago, one of the things that we were looking at was obviously the non-owner occupied short-term rentals were becoming a problem. One of the things that we heard from community input through that process, through SRC, was a couple things. One is there were some people that wanted people that live in the county that may have another house somewhere else in the county to be able to still have a short-term rental because they were in the county. that one didn't get put in there, but the one that did was people that leave during the wintertime to go to warmer climates, and then reside here in the summer and the fall and times when it's slightly more enjoyable. And so that did get put in there. Thus why the 6-month, rule is in there, was for that reason. Unfortunately, the way we try to do the primary residence and the documents that they have, and John went over these, but they've got to provide proof of primary residence and provide 2 documents to verify that. And then it lists acceptable documents not limited to a driver's license, state ID card, vehicle registration, voter registration, utility bills, work identification, or badge. They must show the host name and mailing address matching that of the short-term rental property. So similar to the couple cases we've heard, the last couple months, that gets difficult for us to be able to determine unless we go sit in the woods across from their house to be sure every night that car's in the driveway. Short of doing that, relying on documents and not having any that say one of them has to be a photo ID that shows that. So we are prepared to kind of take this regulation back to our study review committee to look at changing a little bit. We've got to incorporate some legislation that the General Assembly just passed in the state. So in doing that, we're going to maybe look at how we kind of determine primary residence in the future. But you're exactly right. When they come in yearly, it's still just provide 2 documents. Right. And it could be the same 2 documents they provided before. So it gets difficult from that without, us going undercover and doing that in the still of the night, which we're not going to do.
I believe the school system does something more stringent than this current process. That might be something to look at.
Well, the school, if they've got school children, obviously they check residency pretty close, more so from the area of people trying to get in certain schools in the county when they don't live in that actual part of the county. But, them along with Oldham County Tourism really kind of work well with us because we do have sort of moving parts between all 3 of those. And this one actually came to us from tourism because they're constantly checking the Airbnb sites. We don't have the staff to sit there all day long and look for Airbnbs. And then even then, it's difficult because addresses aren't shown. So you sort of have to try to figure out, well, where is this location? And luckily we have some people knowledgeable in the office that when they see a water tower they recognize or this, they can start to try to pinpoint it down. And that's when, code enforcement gets involved. And I will say the applicant in this matter, when we contacted them, they were very forthcoming to come in to take down their short-term rental because that's one of the things code enforcement does ensure if he contacts you to say, look, you'll need to take the listing down until we can go before the board. So they were very forthcoming in that, taking that listing down and coming in and getting the paperwork to come before you all today. So hope that sheds a little light on our...
It does, and I'm encouraged that you're revisiting the documentation requirements in your next level of administrative review. So it's helpful. Thank you.
All right. We still have the floor open right now, board. Is there questions for anybody else? All right. Now I'm going to close the floor, open it up for general discussion. Bill, I think you're spot on, man.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to share. That's
All right. Again, I just draw everybody's attention to the potential conditions of approval. Any other discussion? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve OC 25016 conditional use permit for owner-occupied short-term rental property at 4007 Hambletonian Road. The motion to approve the conditional use because the proposed use is not in conflict with elements, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan based on the character and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community and its surrounding are appropriate. The proposed use is compatible with surrounding land uses and the general character of the area, including such factors as height, bulk, scale, intensity, traffic, noise, and odor. The proposed use will not impair the integrity and character of the zone if there are specific restrictions on location, and there are adequate public facilities available, such as including transportation, sanitation, water drainage, and emergency services, education, and recreation. Conditions for approval are that the conditional use permit shall apply only to the application considered at the April 17th, 2025 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. The applicant shall comply with all regulations concerning short-term rental properties outlined in the Oldham County zoning regulations, section 250-050. The conditional use permit shall be automatically revoked upon transfer sale of the property, and the applicant shall apply for and be issued a short-term rental property permit license before renting the property.
Second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? It's been approved. Okay, minutes. Yep. Everybody get the minutes, and are there any adjustments? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Bill. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Minutes approved. Other business.
So our filing deadline isn't until next Wednesday, but as usual, I'm sure you all will probably have cases on that. I don't know if we have any that have been put in already for Board of Adjustments. We do obviously have the tabled case, so we will be here regardless if we get any new applications. That meeting's May 21st, same time as usual, same place. That's all I have.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.